everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Tomcat Stitchery. I'm Whitney and I'm here with Gidget today. I've had a lot of comments that people haven't been able to see Gidget. She's here. Yes, aren't you? Beauty queen, star of the channel. Yes. Okay. All right. She's actually, we've got a little bit of a break in the weather. It's not quite as hot as it's been, so she wants to sit with me again. Okay, happy Tuesday, everyone. So I have actually a really impromptu video today. So I had an email from a viewer from, I'm hoping that I'm saying your name right. I think it's Bria. I think that's right. Who had sent me an email about we were talking about colors and about what a difference that dressing in your colors can make, not only just for the way you look, but when you have a set of colors that you typically use, just what that does to your closet and how all of a sudden everything is cohesive and everything goes with everything. And she had mentioned that one of her favorite things to do with scraps is to turn it into different accessories for, you know, just or bags or whatever, because then it automatically goes with everything in your closet. It just kind of makes for a no-nonsense. Yeah, everything goes together, makes getting dressed super quickly. It makes, you know, takes a lot of stress out of all that kind of thing. Anyway, she had sent me that just this morning because I was still going back and forth and trying to decide what I wanted to do for a video for today. And when she sent that, I was like, oh my gosh, that's a great idea for a video. So I asked her if it was okay. I actually haven't heard back from her, just giving her a heads up. If I could talk a little bit about this and using some of the things that I use for scrap busters, and as well as introducing some of her ideas as well. So that was the inspiration behind this video, and I think especially right now, since being in the stay-at-home order, my sewing room is an absolute sty, is really what it boils down to. And my cutting table area, only because, especially right now, I'm working with my activewear fabric and I just have patterns out and I'm not putting anything away right now like I normally would. Normally I finish a project and I immediately put the pattern away, but because I was testing a whole bunch of patterns and then I put the plan of making multiples of those for my activewear, I'm just leaving those patterns out and I'm trying to keep them separated from each other in piles. It's just an absolute mess. So at some point soon, I'm gonna have to do a really big clean and tidying up of my sewing room and cutting area. But one of the things that very easily gets overrun or really, really crowded are my scrap bins, and I'm sure I'm not alone on this. So like you all, I definitely, I don't keep teeny tiny scraps. As you've seen in many of my videos, I cut those off and those get trashed. But for, you know, somewhat sizable scraps, I keep all of those. And I have a few different bins that I keep them in, but then you kind of forget about them a lot of times. So I think it's always a good exercise to go back and dig through some of those and make a decision on, is this something I am going to use? If not, could it be used for, you know, something else? You know, I will talk about one pattern of something that you could do with those. I also have a friend that does a ton of stuff with scraps and that kind of thing, and a lot of times I'll gift her a lot of my scraps as well, and you can recycle them. They're definitely, you know, check with your area. Actually, Goodwill in my area recycles fabric. Again, the same friend, she checked into that to make sure, and they do. They recycle fabric scraps. So anyway, I wanted to talk with you about some great ways, though, that we can use. I'm going to open up a tablet here because I've made some notes, but different ways that you could, or ideas, patterns, that kind of thing. Some of these you don't even need a pattern, but different ways that we can use our scraps in a fun way, not only to be economical with our fabric, but also to just to have a great resource for our accessories in our closet, like Bria had said. So let's get started. All right, number one, I want to talk about normally I don't talk about what I'm wearing because it's always linked below. If you're ever wondering what I'm wearing, if you click on the description box right below the video, I have a link to the pattern, or I'll say it's ready to wear if it's a thrifted something, but I always have that listed. However, I always get comments when I wear this dress. This is M7745. When you click on that pattern, the dress that is on the cover of that is like this off the shoulder number. And it has like little straps. It doesn't look anything like this dress, but this is view D of that, actually view D, but I've shortened view D. to view C's length. But anyway, this is view D of that dress. It's a raglan sleeve. You can't really tell. That also looks like my bra strap's hanging out. It's not. That's part of the flower. I love this pattern, but this just looks completely different from what the gal on the cover of the pattern is wearing. So I always get questions like, oh, you linked the wrong pattern. I didn't. I've gotten that question a few different times, or comment a few different times. This is the pattern. It is just, doesn't look anything like the view that's on the front of the envelope. All right. Okay, so let's start off with knits. I also keep my knit scraps separate from my woven scraps for obvious reasons, just to help keep those substrates separate. And actually, I've spoken quite a bit about what I like to do with knit fabrics anytime I'm cutting out a t-shirt or a knit project. So I have some of these listed here before, and some of these I've talked about before, but I want to go through them real quick. So the first one is the Megan Nielsen Acacia underwear. She has 2 size ranges. She has her standard size range and her curve size range, so a wide range of sizes. This pattern is free if you sign up for her newsletter. I know some people were having issues with that though when I did the sew along, so I'm not sure what the deal is. I got all of these patterns when they were first released and they were just free. Now you have to sign up for the newsletter to get them free. So I don't know if you can just get one of these free, or once you sign up for the newsletter, you can get all of them free. I'm really not sure what that is, what that is. But I mean, you wouldn't have to use this underwear pattern. You could use any underwear pattern. You could tear apart an old pair of your underwear that you love and make your own. But underwear is a fantastic use of knit scraps. I have a video, and I'll pop a link up to it here, where I show you how to sew. How many leg finishes did I do? Three different leg finishes, 4 different leg finishes. I think I did 3 different leg finishes, like leg and waistband finishes. I really can't remember now. It really wasn't that long ago, but I love them. I wear them all the time. So I will leave a link up to that video if you're interested in more on that. It's a wonderful little pattern. Again, you don't have to use that pattern. It's just, this is free if you sign up for the newsletter. So, something to look into. Second, Megan Nielsen also has a free pattern for a bow headband. This is amazing, and I've made this one quite a few times. Now, this pattern comes in a baby size, a child size, and an adult size. I have seen these bow headbands on adults everywhere, where people are like wearing their hair back like in a messy bun, and then they'll have the cute little, with the tie kind of on the side, or even just in their hair with the tie on the side. And the wonderful thing about this pattern, it's very easy. I've made quite a few child size ones for my niece, but one of the wonderful things about this is that it's super easy to fit because it's knit and it's stretchy, and there's no elastic. I don't think. No, there's no elastic in this. You just tie it tighter because you actually tie it onto your head. Is that right? It's been a while since I've made one. But I love that it comes in the 3 different sizes, so you can make headbands for everyone. But it's a really good scrap buster as well for your knit fabrics, and really easy to make coordinating things. Once again, if you're using your knit fabrics that, like the t-shirt week I did, I had a whole bunch of different colored solids. Those go with almost everything in my closet, which was the idea, so I could wear t-shirts with everything in my closet. But having those scraps, yeah, now you got a little headband that you can mix and match with a whole bunch of different things. It's just a phenomenal way of stretching your closet, because adding accessories to an outfit can totally change an outfit and totally stretch your wearability of your closet. All right, next is the Love Notions Summer Basic Tank. I gotta throw this one in here. This one is not free. This one is a pattern you have to pay. It comes with a couple of dresses and everything. It was just re-released in their new larger size range, and it re-released with a bra, a built-in bra in it as well, which I've not tried yet. Very excited about trying that out yet. But I love this tank pattern. It has a full bust option, which I do use on this one. I keep that and the underwear pattern actually at my cutting table. So when I am cutting out a t-shirt, because I always have, because you need certain length, for your t-shirts, but I never use all the width. So I can usually get quite a bit out of that 1.5 meters or yards of fabric, at least one or the other, the tank or the underwear, depending on what shirt I'm making, obviously. But yes, it is just a wonderful knit tank. I mean, you can wear those, layer them, wear them by themselves, dress them up, dress them down. They're just a fantastic thing to have in your closet. And you really can't have too many. All right, next up, is another free pattern. I got onto Ellie and Mac has quite a few free patterns, and so you can definitely go over there and have a look. But one of them that's really interesting to me, and I've not made this one yet, but it's the Ellie and Mac sock pattern. So you can make your own socks, which I don't know why that's so like mind-boggling to me. I'm sure, you know, if you buy a pair of socks, most of the time it's in knitted fabric. They aren't necessarily knitted. I shouldn't say that. Especially like the fun and funky socks. But I thought, what a fun way to use up some of your crazier knit fabrics. Again, I've not tried this one, but for a free pattern, I think this would be a lot of fun in the winter. My son loves fun socks and wears socks all the time, sleeps in them all the time. He has socks on. So I think that I will probably try this one at some point. Okay. Oh my God. Sorry. I'm really not tired. Okay. Woven. One thing that has come way back in style, once again, is the hair scrunchie. My daughter has quite a few that she's picked up at, you know, like Old Navy and that kind of stuff when we've been out and about, but they're so easy to make. However, if you really like a pattern, Ellie and Mac also has a free pattern of a scrunchie. Wonderful scrap buster, and you can even go really luxe on these and use like silk if you wanted to, which is actually really fantastic for your hair. You know, that's the reason that, especially if you have curly hair, that is the reason, you know, they do like the silk pillowcases. Well, I think it's for your skin, but really for your hair, so you're not abrading your hair when you're sleeping. You know, they do the silk bonnets and head wraps and stuff for the same reason when you're sleeping, to help keep your hair from abrading and getting frizzy and fuzzy. Again, especially with curlier hair. But a silk scrunchie will just, number one, it won't slide out of your hair if it's real silk. That does have a tendency to hold a little bit, but without damaging your hair at all. So that would be really fantastic. But of course, you could make scrunchies out of anything. And then again, you've got a matching, you know, scrunchie set that can go with all sorts of things if you just like to throw your hair up and go. Another one is and this one you could very easily just kind of make your own thing. But Tilly and the Buttons, her very first book, which is Love at First Stitch, I think it's the first pattern in there. Her patterns get progressively harder as you go through. It's one of my favorite gifts to give to my daughter's friends when they're showing any interest in sewing. I've had such a good feedback on that. But she has a headband, and it's a tie, like a headscarf, I guess. It's a headscarf pattern where you can tie, but a thin one. Fantastic scrap buster, and wonderful if you're trying to teach those younger generation how to sew, because that's something that they can easily make. You can make it in a lot of fun colors, a lot of fun prints, and also great for scrap busting, so you can get like a free project right there out of that. Okay, next, let's talk about belts. So this is one that Bria had mentioned that she had sent it because the outfits that I had done for the ready-to-wear that I'm going to recreate, she mentioned that the jumpsuit that I was making and the flight suit that I'm making, how fun it would be to use some scraps of, you know, any of the other linens or the pattern fabrics that I've used to make the belts for those, and how fun that would be. And you could, you know, obviously mix and match into different areas or different garments and that kind of thing. And I loved that idea. So you know, very simple. You guys have made the fabric belts, the fabric waist ties that come with patterns before, tie belts, whatever you want to call them. But one thing I think really elevates that is a buckle. And one of the buckles that's like the circle with the line through it, so you're literally just, you know, weaving the fabric through. I think that is a great way to elevate a fabric belt. And I found a source for you all. So I have really been following actually a lot more accounts on my Instagram account recently, which has been phenomenal, really, with the Black Makers Matter movement. I've come across a whole bunch of really gorgeous Instagram feeds, lots of bright color, beautiful clothes, and I'm really enjoying what I have, what I'm seeing. But one, and I'd heard of Tabitha before, Tabitha Sewers. Is it Sewers or Sewer? Remember if it's Sewers or Sewer, and I believe that that's her actual last name, which is really cool as well. She has a shop and she sells phenomenal buttons, number one. That's what drew me to her shop, because Love Notions has used quite a few of her buttons before, and they're just really, really cool buttons. So definitely head over to the link for that, just to look at her buttons. But she also sells belt buckles, and I just bought two. I bought this kind of a tortoiseshell looking button in the copper colorway, which I think is beautiful. They're 3-inch diameter buckles, both of these. And then I bought this wood one, and I think was it walnut or hickory? She has a few different colors that are on there. And they're a little pricier as far as like hardware for something, but I think it's gonna make an amazing fabric belt, and I'm so excited to get these. I also ordered a set of buttons that may have snuck into my cart as well, just because they were really pretty. And I was afraid, you have to kind of jump when you see stuff that you like on her website because it sells out super quickly. So I grabbed a package or a cart of buttons as well while I was there. But yeah, belts. You can put them, you can do them through belt loops in your jeans, which you can also do with a scarf. You could, have a nice long scarf. You can put that through your belt loops and wear that as a belt as well in jeans or whatever, any pair of bottoms that have a belt loops. But I do really like the idea of adding the buckle. And it's just a matter of basically hemming or doubling up fabric, especially if you had like the random long strips. You're like, what the heck am I going to do with this? You can make it whatever width you want. It's a great use. Okay. Another thing, okay, so scarves. So you guys saw when I did the Great Module Sew Along, I had a scrap of silk, a sizable, probably about a yard of silk that was in all of my colors. And I wasn't sure if I could get anything out of it or what I wanted to do with it. And I actually ended up just narrow hemming all of the edges, all 4 of the edges, and now it's a scarf, and I wear it all the time. You guys have seen I love to put it in my hair. I'll put a whole bunch of inspiration pics. If you go on to Pinterest and search for scarves and hair, or hair scarves, or ways to wear, scarves in your hair, whatever, there's some gorgeous pictures. So I've pinned quite a few, and all of these inspiration pictures are linked down below. You can go to the Pinterest board and get directly to the original site of those. But I love wearing silk scarves. Again, silk scarves are the best. They don't slide out of your hair. They're really good for your hair, and there's a million ways you can wear basically a large silk scrap as an accessory. It's so easy. You could play around. It's a great time to try and use your rolled hem foot if you've got one. I've never actually mastered a rolled hem foot. I just do a narrow hem the way I do a narrow hem. I would love to master a rolled hem foot, but I never have. I just never taken the time. Or if you have a serger, you can very easily do the rolled hem on there, which actually wraps. It's not as pretty as like the rolled hem foot on a machine where it is literally rolling the fabric. The serger does roll the fabric, but it's also wrapping thread around it. So you can get some really cool effects if you use contrasting thread or whatever. It's how I actually did a lot of when I was still altering and doing custom clothing. Prom dresses that had like chiffon overlays, I would almost always do the serger rolled hem foot. Because number one, it'd give a little bit of weight. Chiffon jumps, so give a little bit of weight, but it's a fantastic finish as well. And fun to play around with your machines and use different things that you hadn't used before. So yeah, definitely scarves. You can do a whole bunch of different widths. Whatever you've got scrap-wise that you're not quite sure what to do with, it's a great use of fabric. All right, now another one that Bria said was that her daughter who just graduated college loves to do is make crazy quilt bags. If you go on Pinterest or Google Images and Google crazy quilt, not just bags, but crazy quilt purses, oh my gosh, there's some gorgeous things. Where basically you're just taking scraps. I mean, if you've ever done a crazy quilt, I'm sure that this is not rocket science. But just laying out scraps onto a piece of like canvas, depending on the type of bag you're making, muslin, whatever, until you get a overlap them, whatever, until you get a composition that you are happy with. Then you just pin everything down, and then it's just a matter of you can use the decorative stitches on your machine. Another great use of those decorative stitches. Add trim, whatever you want to do to sew all those pieces down to the main piece of fabric, and then you can just make the clutch, the bag. I was really looking at some of the clutches that had like scraps of like velvet and like really high-end fabric. Oh, so pretty. Heavier silks. I think that'd be such a cool evening bag to go with like a solid dress. If you had one of those in real luxe fabrics, clutch. I think that would just be gorgeous. But it is a great use of scraps again. So, you know, one of those things we kind of steal from the quilters every now and again because they've got some good tips, good tools, and definitely stuff that we can use as garment seamstresses. So yeah, I fell down a rabbit hole looking at the crazy quilt bags and purses. There are some gorgeous ones. So definitely, I highly recommend that you Google or go to Pinterest and search for those. You'll be blown away by the inspiration. Okay. The final thing that I wanted to talk about, if you've got a whole bunch of these scraps that maybe you're not in love with, or maybe they're from, you know, colors that you don't really wear anymore, or maybe you just didn't like the fabric even, you sewed with it and just really didn't like it the way, so you really don't want to use it for anything else. Closet Case Patterns has a free pattern for a pouf. So it is like a footstool basically, and you use scraps to create it, and then it has a zipper in it, so you just stuff it with scraps. So that is a fantastic way to, number one, store your scraps, or if you've got a whole bunch of stuff that you'll never use, but you don't really want to go recycle it or whatever, you can make yourself a pouf. Now I think they can get quite heavy, depending on how much stuff you're stuffing in there. But when I was at my sewing retreat with my sewing group a while ago, not last year, not the January we just had, but I think the previous January, one of the gals there was doing the pouf, and it turned out so cute. She had a whole bunch of different kinds of like denims and blues. It was a grays, and there were grays. Oh, it was so cute. It was so pretty. She's my friend that always likes to have the scraps and stuff. It was amazing. And so definitely, if you're looking for something else to do, that's not an accessory to wear really, but it is an accessory in your home. And I think that, yeah, we tend to wear colors a lot of times that are also the colors in our homes. So there you go. Another big accessory. Okay, I think that's all I've got for you guys today. If you guys have anything that you really enjoy making with your scraps that I've not listed below, comment. Give me a comment down below. We'd love to hear some more of the wonderful things that we can do with our scraps in order to not only be economical, but really a way to stretch our fabrics and our closets. You know, creating accessories can really go the distance with, yeah, giving us more options with the items that are in our closets. Okay, that's all I have for today, guys. Let's see, the weekly vlog goes up tomorrow. And then on Friday, I'm really hopeful that I'm going to be able to do a sew the look for one of the outfits already, the ready-to-wear outfits. But I wanted to really quickly plug. So Lisa Kish from And Sew On and Whitney from, oh my gosh, I can't remember her Instagram. I'll put it up here. I'll put both of them down here. Are hosting a challenge, and it is the hashtag 2020, it's not sew the look. Okay, I'll also put the hashtag down here. Anyway, what it is picking a ready-to-wear inspiration picture and then recreating it, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. The contest is only good though through the end of June, so definitely if you want to jump on that. So I'd really like to have an outfit done by Friday, which of course I'll do a sew the look video for you guys, but then I can enter it into that contest as well. But if you are interested in that kind of thing, go check out that hashtag. There's a ton of inspiration. And then, yeah, you're basically just have to put on Instagram a side-by-side of the inspiration outfit and then what you've made. And yeah, then you have to tag a couple people in there, and that's it. Obviously, use the hashtag. Oh, we're leaving. But anyway, I just wanted to plug that challenge because it's just a lot of fun and just a great way to, yeah, to take some of that inspiration, things that you may would have bought in the store, or maybe not, because maybe just something just wasn't quite right for your body type, or the color wasn't just quite right for you, or whatever. It's a great way to be able to, yeah, recreate that. And I think it'd be a really fun hashtag to follow as well, just to see what everyone else is doing. So I will leave the information for that challenge down below as well, so you can go check that out. So hopefully I will have a sew the look for you all on Friday. And then Sunday is part 2 of the B6358 swimsuit sew along. So we start sewing, which is all very exciting. Okay, so that's all I've got for today. I will see you guys in the weekly vlog tomorrow and again on Friday. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week, and I will see you next time. Bye!